Corporate and Public Affairs. The Chairman, GRA Board of Directors, Mr. Ndur, here present, Deputy Commissioner General, Commissioner of Customs, other directors that are here, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to all of you to this press briefing. On behalf of the Board and Management of the Gambia Revenue Authority, I am pleased to address you today on the authority's revenue performance for the first quarter of the year 2026. I am delighted to report that the authority has recorded a strong and encouraging performance in the first 3 months of the year. During this period, the Gambia Revenue Authority mobilized a total revenue of 7.7 billion against a target of 7.4 billion, representing 3% collections above the target and a positive variance, absolute variance of 247 million. These achievements translate to an average monthly collections of approximately 2.5 billion, underscoring the consistency and resilience of our revenue systems. When you compare the revenue performance for the first quarter of the previous year, 2025, the 2026 first quarter performance shows an impressive 14% increase above the target and absolute variance of 971 million. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to put this into perspective, the total revenue we collected in just the first quarter of the year is equivalent to what the authority mobilized in the entire year in 2010. 2010, the year 2010, the collections was about 3 billion. Now today, we can proudly say that these collections was done in a single year, single month. That is the month of March. I have some statistics here. From 2006 up to 2010, the yearly collections of GRA is about 3 billion, from 2006 up to 2010. Today, we are collecting in a single month over 3 billion. This is a clear manifestation of the progress we have made over the years in strengthening the domestic revenue mobilization. Our performance is further supported by strong performance across the key revenue systems with both the Customs and Excise and Domestic Taxes Department, registering significant year-in-year growth. In March 2026, we reached a historic milestone by exceeding the 3 billion in a single month threshold for the first time in the history of revenue collection in this country. For us to be able to collect over 3 billion as one single month. We collected over 3.1 billion against a target of 3.0 billion, which represented a 5% performance above the target. This also reflects a 22% increase compared to March 2025, highlighting the sustained upward trajectory of the revenue performance. As you are aware, the authority has been tasked by the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs to mobilize over 28 billion for the year 2026 fiscal year. I am pleased to inform you that our first quarter performance already represents 27% of the annual target, placing us firmly on track to meet and potentially exceed our revenue target. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is possible if everything being, as they call it in economics, all things being equal. You have all seen what is happening in the world today. Life is not as it used to be. So we are saying that all things being equal, we should be able to get the target that is set for us, or even get more than that. But that is only if things remain as they are. As you have seen, what is happening in the development of the world all over. Currently, the oil prices have gone up. This has affected the entire world. And as we speak, this month we are in April, we are likely to have a subsidy over $300 million, which in simple language means that government is going to forgo over 300 million of its revenue to compensate the pump prices that the consumers are going to buy. So this is just the beginning. We don't know what is going to happen the following months that are coming. And that is why I put that code, all things being equal. If things continue like this, it will be very difficult for us to get closer to what we need to get at the end of the year. Because some of these things are beyond us. It is not within the control of within Gambia or the government. Things happen in other parts of the world, but the reflections comes over here. So in simple terms, we are foregoing over 300 million from our revenue this month of April. And we hope and pray that everything will go back to normal before we go to the next month, which is May. Otherwise, things might not be as we wanted them to be. These achievements are not accidental. They are as a result of deliberate reforms, strengthened and compliance mechanisms, enhanced enforcement strategies, and our ongoing efforts to digitalize tax administration. We are committed to making tax compliance simpler, more efficient, and more transparent for all our taxpayers. This is our work, and we are committed to it. We make sure that all the taxpayers that are within this country have to make sure that they are compliant in terms of the revenues that they are expected to pay. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I wish to express my sincere appreciation to the Board of Directors for their strategic leadership and guidance, and for their incredible support in our ongoing reforms. Luckily, we have the chairman here who represents the rest of the board members. We are very grateful to them for the leadership role that they play in getting us where we are today. Both the present and the past board, we are very grateful to them. I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to the management and entire staff of the Gambia Revenue Authority for their dedication, professionalism, and tireless commitment to duty. This performance is direct reflection of their hard work. I have the DCG here, COFC, all the other directors are here. If it is not them, we will not be able to achieve that. It's all due to their professionalism, hard work, and discipline. You all know the work we are doing is not a child's play. It is not easy to mobilize such an amount of money over a single month, and you have to be accountable for everything. It's a serious work, and it takes serious leadership to get what we are today. It takes serious leadership. When it comes to business, business is business. This is what we know and this is what we do. So I am very much grateful to my management, from the Deputy Commissioner General and the Head of Domestic Sales to the last staff of GRA. They have all played a pivotal role in what we achieved today. And I really want to say thank you very much for an excellent work that you have done. I would also like to thank our stakeholders, both private and public, particularly our taxpayers, for their continuous compliance and cooperation. Their contributions to national development cannot be overstated. As we continue to innovate and transition to a more digital system, I urge you all to remain patient and supportive as we work to improve service delivery and enhance experience with the authority. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would also want to highlight a couple of institutions that have played a pivotal role a very important role in achieving this revenue that we have achieved. The commercial banks that are in the country, their contribution is immense towards their tax payments or their compliance. We must say a very big thank you to them. More particular, Trust Bank, they have been working with us every other day, and their contribution is recognized by this management, as well as EcoBank. EcoBank management also, they've been working with us greatly. All other commercial banks have worked with us, but I have to single out these two banks because they have done extremely well for the past 3 months or for the past 12 months, because the end of 2025 tax year is end in March 2026. So all other banks have done very well, but I must single out these two banks. Going to the GSM companies that are in the country, I must also say these companies that I want to mention, QCell, Africell, and Comium, they have also done extremely well. Just this last quarter, each of them have paid over $50 million as their payments on just the last quarter. They paid more than $50 million towards their corporation tax. And that is different from the other taxes that they have paid. So they are also working with us. And I must say at this press conference that QCell, Africell, Comiums are doing very well. Now we move to the fintechs. One company that we want to single out is the Wave, the Gambia. Wave, the Gambia came into this country not long ago. But I can speak on behalf of Gambia Revenue Authority in terms of their tax compliance. Since their operation up to date, they've been very helpful in terms of their tax payments. Their compliance level is very high. Just to quote a figure for you, this last quarter, their final payment, you know the corporations and business $1 billion. So as far as Gambia Revenue Authority is concerned, this is a big contribution. And we want to have more of waves in this country. We want to have more of institutions that are tax compliant. But we know what that means for the country, and we know what that means for the Gambia Revenue Authority. So I want to thank the management of WAVE, from their CEO to the country manager and everybody. And I encourage them to be tax compliant because they are doing their own quota in terms of development. I also want to say a few other companies like NAWEC. They have been cooperative in the past. They have contributed a lot towards their tax payment, as well as GPA, Gambia Ports Authority. We have been working with them, and they have also been very helpful. This list goes on, but I cannot stop, and I cannot mention everybody. But one area that I cannot leave behind is the audit firms. You know, in the country, the taxes that most of the companies pay, they have to go through audit. And some of the companies have to submit their audited account. Some, before the audited account, they bring on what we call management account. But the auditors that are behind the scene, companies like Deloitte and Touch, Gambia, they are really doing great work in terms of what their assignments. Companies like Accord Associate, Foresight, and Augustus Plummer. These, among other companies, they are very helpful in terms of what they do behind the scenes. We are the ones seen in front as revenue collectors, but these companies are the ones that audit the company, these private companies. And at the end of the day, we rely on their audits or their audited accounts for the taxes to be paid. So they also play a significant role in terms of their contributing what we are witnessing today. If these companies are not working hard, we may not get where we are today. And that is why I will not do justice to myself without mentioning this audit company. We have a very good working relationship with them, and we will continue to have a good working relationship with them. So that at the end of the day, you know, it's all going towards the development of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I wish to appreciate the board of directors, which I have mentioned before, and the management. I would also like to thank other stakeholders and that have contributed to get us where we are. And finally, on my speech, I wish to acknowledge the government of the Gambia for creating the enabling environment for us to be able to get this, and the support that we are getting. We have undergone through a lot of reforms, and we are able to get all through because of the political support. The political support comes from His Excellency, the President, and his cabinet. They are the people who give us support to be able to achieve whatever we want to achieve. Without the atmosphere, without the support, it would be very difficult for us to get whatever we have today. We have gone through successfully some of the reforms, the successful migration of the Asikuda Wall in 2022, and you have all witnessed the good role or job the Asikuda Wall is doing today. And we are able to go through this through the help of the executive. Construction and completion of the Revenue House. Again, we have built a 3-story building at the head office here. That is where some of my department staffs are, including the Deputy Commissioner General and Head of Domestic Tax. This was also completed in 2022. Provision of fiber optic connection to all GRA offices across the country. This was also done successfully because we know that we are digitalizing. And if we don't connect our offices with the fiber optic, we will end up having problem with internet. So we have to make sure that we have a contract with Gamtel, and they have provided the fiber optic services to all our offices.